G'day Pickleball family. First thing to know, as shared on thedinkpickleball.com, top pros form player collective, 89% suggest unfair treatment. A newly formed collective of top Major League Pickleball, MLP, and Pro Pickleball Association, PPA pros, has literally taken a vote of no confidence towards professional pickleball's leadership via an anonymous poll. The poll was produced by the recently established The Player Collective, which describes itself as a core group of players working in conjunction with agents to represent and support all 103 signed MLP players. The collective has secured funding from an angel investor and has retained an employment attorney and an antitrust attorney, according to pro Jill Braverman. Last week, we broke the news that MLP and PPA players were asked to take a significant pay cut in order for the leagues to continue financially. We've since heard that MLP players believed they are at a greater disadvantage than PPA players. MLP players were asked to take up to a 40% cut, but PPA players were only asked for 0 to 10%, according to the collective. We have also heard that MLP players felt threatened to sign and were given false deadlines to work toward. According to a recent email obtained by the Dink, a poll asked players for their thoughts surrounding last month's player pay negotiations. 93% have not received the information they've requested to make an informed decision as to whether to accept a pay cut or not. 89% of respondents believe they have not been treated fairly during the pay cut negotiation process. 88% of respondents believe that they are being punished for their loyalty to MLP. PPA salaries are 20 to 40% greater than MLP salaries, yet PPA players have only been asked for a 0 to 10% reduction. When asked, have you found that Anne, Bruce, John, or other MLP staff have been able to successfully answer the majority of your questions, 94 of respondents answered no. When asked, do you think the PPA is of high moral character and integrity, 79% of respondents answered no, 21% answered no opinion, and not a single respondent answered yes. The collective adds that lies, threats, deceitfulness, false deadlines, and refusal to honour written agreements have affected player opinions about league leadership. Put simply, we believe that MLP has departed from the ethos that we know and love and is instead embodying the exact ethos that we fled from when we signed multi-year deals with Major League Pickleball in August, the email says. At the end of the collective's email, a postscript explains players had an opportunity to provide anonymous feedback to MLP and PPA leadership. Here are some of the highlights of that feedback. This player's thoughts seem to sum up the general sentiment from most of those who provided feedback. I'm not upset about pay cuts specifically, and I am willing to do anything to support the future of the sport and play the game I love, but I'm not willing to accept the bad treatment and feel disrespected and taken advantage of by the organisation I chose to join. We all love pickleball. All pro players want to help the sport grow, and we should work together with the principles of any strong organisation: respect, transparency, community, etc. The below player makes a few claims. Connor Pardo of PPA was given MLP authority to engage in salary discussions. Pardo reportedly insinuated that if an agreement was not reached by a certain time, a larger pay cut would ensue. Players who are mothers had their familial situation leveraged in discussions. The MLP team's behaviour during the pay cut negotiations has been shameful. The leadership team should not use the word leadership when describing themselves after leveraging tactics that included bold-faced threats, artificial deadlines, threatening mothers that if they do not accept the cuts, they may be scheduled to work on their kid's birthday, intimidation. If you don't take this today, by noon, your cut increases from 40 to 60%. That last comment was said by Connor Pardo. However, he was given authority by the MLP team to make calls on MLP's behalf. How could the MLP team think that giving Connor the authority to make calls would induce trust in the players? We chose MLP because we didn't want to work with Connor. There is no one left at MLP except a few owners who respect its players. Approach us with honesty and transparency, and you will receive the same in return. The Dink reached out to MLP and PPA Tour officials for comment. Here's a joint response from officials at MLP and PPA Tour. We've had extremely productive conversations with the vast majority of the 103 players who signed MLP contracts that start in 2024, many of whom have accepted a reduction. Of the 43 Premier level players who have made a decision, 40 of them have agreed to a salary adjustment. These reductions, in concert with meaningful financial commitments made by MLP's owners, are building a strong path to the long-term success of pro pickleball. Any player is welcome to play on the PPA Tour, period. There is no punishment for not taking a reduction. If all of this sounds new or confusing, here's some brief context. Over the summer, MLP and the PPA Tour entered into a bidding war to sign exclusivity contracts with players. Those contracts eventually dissolved, and the two warring factions in pro pickleball finally agreed to merge talks. This fall, PPA and MLP requested players' consent to compensation reductions to restabilise budgets, which flew out the window during the summer's bidding war and saw some players' contracts agreeing to multi-million-dollar salaries. Recently, MLP held an actual Dutch auction among team owners to raise additional funds. The highest bidders were given slots on the Premier level for 2024. And if you've made it this far into the update, please be sure to dink that like button on the platform you're watching or listening to this on so that it can be shared with and found by other fellow pickleballers. Second thing to know, as shared on the PPA Tour site, Jeannie Bouchard, Jack Sock, Sam Querrey and Donald Young set to make 2024 PPA Tour debuts at the Masters in January. Tennis champions Jeannie Bouchard, Jack Sock, Sam Querrey and Donald Young are set to make their debuts on the 2024 PPA Tour at the Masters event taking place at Mission Hills Country Club in Rancho Mirage, California, January 10 through 14. Sock previously competed at the 2023 PPA North Carolina Open, winning the mixed doubles title alongside world number one Anna Leigh Waters, and Querrey will make his second consecutive appearance at the Masters. For Bouchard and Young, the Masters will be their first pro pickleball outing as they seek to improve their skills and reach the top of the game. Sock will play mixed doubles with Canadian world number two Catherine Parento and doubles with Colin Schick. Bouchard will partner with Utah native Tyler Leung for doubles. Querrey will team up with good friend Wes Burrows in doubles and former USC tennis standout Caitlin Christian for mixed. Other pairings will be announced leading up to the event. I'm so excited to make my PPA Tour debut at the Masters in Palm Springs in January, said Bouchard. I don't really have any expectations as this will be my first event. I'm training hard and am excited to compete against the best players in the world. This will be a great moment to start my pickleball career. Competing in the PPA Tour event in North Carolina last summer was a great experience, said Sock. I'm excited to play a full schedule of tournaments in 2024, and I'm thrilled to partner with a champion in Catherine Parento to play the first event in Palm Springs. The Masters is one of the 4 slams on the PPA Tour and provides the highest amount of ranking points for players as they battle to become the best in the world. Bouchard, Sock, Querrey and Young will join Waters, world number one on the men's side, Ben Johns, and the other top pickleball athletes at the first event of the 2024 season, with the option to compete across singles, doubles and mixed doubles. The 2024 PPA season is set to be the biggest and most exciting year of pro pickleball yet, said PPA Tour founder and CEO Connor Pardo. The level of play has never been higher, and we're looking forward to welcoming new talent to the tour. Jeannie, Jack, Sam and Donald have proven themselves on the tennis court time and time again, and now fans will be able to see them train to challenge the top players in the world on the pickleball court. Bouchard reached the Wimbledon final in 2014 and a Women's Tennis Association career high ranking of number 5 shortly thereafter, becoming the first Canadian to reach the top 5 in singles. Sock is a 4-time Grand Slam champion, 3 doubles, 1 mixed doubles, and Olympic doubles gold and mixed doubles bronze medalist who reached number 8 in singles and number 2 in doubles during the height of his tennis career. Querrey achieved a career high ranking of number 11 in singles in 2018, following a run to the Wimbledon semi-finals and US Open quarterfinals. Young is a Grand Slam doubles finalist and reached the top 50 in both singles and doubles. While tennis has many overlapping skills with pickleball, including hand-eye coordination, touch, and court awareness, the transition for tennis players into pickleball is not seamless. Players often struggle with the play around the non-volley zone line, also known as the kitchen line. This includes dinks, volleys, and movement around the non-volley zone. A player must have patience to set up a strategy in dinking while maintaining balance in their movement. In addition to the pros, roughly 1,000 amateur players compete at each PPA Tour stop across different level and age divisions. Paddles up.